without further ado, let's bring our guy in. Big Z, Zander Krause. He joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother? You got me?
Can't hear you.
The hell? No? You can't hear me?
Okay, go ahead. I got you.
You got me or no?
I got you. Don't worry, it was me.
Oh, your computer was muted.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. yeah.
I knew it. I'm like, my mic's on. I know the guy can hear me.
Yeah. Hey, no, you're right. You're right. You're right, dog. All right, here.
When there's a problem with our connection, just know, everybody, it's Sileo. It's not me.
No, that's exactly correct here. All right, so let me ask you, man. So I heard Vic Fangio say today that he's going to play some of his guys. You know me. You've been around me. How come the defensive guys can play some guys? And I'm not expecting Jordan Davis or Carter to play, but I'm expecting some of the other guys to get out there and play. How come on that side of the ball it's conducive for Vic to be able to have his guys play? But on the offensive side, the offensive guys don't play any of their dudes. And on top of that, Zander, what side of the football has been better prepared the last 2 years to get themselves ready for the season by using some of the exhibition football? It's been Vic's side of the football, no?
So, and you think that's because of preseason?
No, I think it's because Vic tries to get real live. Well, then you tell me why that side of the ball's been better.
Oh, they got better talent. They got better coaching. They got better players. I mean, come on. I think all those things are more important than, hey, they played in August, so that helped them out more. I mean, come on.
You're trying to tell me that having guys given real reps in a game and giving them real opportunities to see live action,
dude, they
versus
played
people.
One series.
Hold on. Your offense has stunk for 2 years.
And you think that's because of the preseason? Really? Is that really what you think?
Okay. Well, here. What team was better on what side of the ball in the first month of the season? The defense or the offense last year?
What side was better? The defense was better.
Okay. So do you think being better prepared is all I'm saying? Whether that means some preseason, some organized team practices, getting live reps for his guys versus not getting his guys reps.
I am not. I agree with you, but I'm not drawing the correlation to the preseason games. They played a series. I mean, I think there are 5 factors that are more important to them being more prepared than playing a series of football in August.
Like Phil Sims.
I just don't think that's the number one thing.
Well, then why do you think the offense
Vic has done a good job? I mean, at practice and things like that, but I don't think it's because they played a series of football in August.
Then why do you think the offense has limped out of the gate when it comes to the passing game the last 2 years?
Well, I mean, again, I'm going to go back to the same point. You think that's because they didn't play in the preseason?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, really? So why'd they limp in December?
Well, get this. Mahomes, Burrow, and who else is
playing?
Wait
a second. They started 4-0 last year. Their offense was worse in December than it was in September.
Stafford, Burrow, Love, Mahomes, and Knicks are playing on Thursday and Friday. Just keeping score here. All right.
I mean, I get it. But again, the offense was better in September than they were in December.
Was?
Yeah, they were 4-0. Jalen was running the ball like crazy. They were.
Okay, so you don't seem to think – you think that not having – no, I don't want to speak for you, so let me say this. So I would say this from what I just heard. The first time they're going to see live action will be in the Commander game. And that, for them, is going to be good enough with what they've tried to do with 18 practices to get themselves ready for the upcoming season, where Vic tries to get guys some live reps and tries to get –
Boy, you're putting a lot of stock in this one series.
No, not one. Mahomes played 3 series last
year. Okay, you're not – I'm not talking about Mahomes. You're talking about the Eagles defense.
Okay.
They played 1 series in the preseason last year.
By the way, that health stuff didn't work last year. They weren't healthy.
They played one series in the defense.
They weren't healthy last year when they say
okay.
that.
All right, that's fine. For overall the last 5 years, they've been more healthy.
Well, as you get older and as you get further into your career, do you think maybe you need to be able to get playing time for these guys, or do you not?
No, I don't. I still don't. It's the same answer as the last 3
And
years. I don't think it's that important.
You know what? You're right, because I'm probably from just like too old school there. Andy Reid plays his guys. But then again, that team got banged up last year.
But again, Sills, not to call you out, but I heard you on your own show yesterday say if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt in that preseason game, that's flat out stupidity, not a bad coincidence or not a bad, circumstance. I mean,
I'd rather have a guy injured in the week 1 than in preseason. But Andy doesn't believe in that. That's not what Andy does.
I'm just saying, there's
a reason they've been to 7 straight. I know last year was down, but they went to 7 straight AFC championship games.
And you, again, just to go back to my original point, you think that's because of the preseason, or you think that's because they're a well-coached team who's got good players who plays well in the games when they're important? I mean, I don't think the preseason has anything to do with that. Why did the Eagles go to 2 Super? Who's the only team in the NFC who's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years?
Better prepared defensively every single season since Vic Fangio has been there because of his style of coaching and because of how he preps them in the preseason and gets them ready for the regular season.
So who's the only team in the NFC who's been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years?
Vic. Or
now we're the Philadelphia Vics. Oh, come on, Sileo.
Your offense has blown shit.
Dude, you're missing the point.
Well, what's the point?
The bigger factors are how good they play on the field, not whether they play in the preseason.
Okay, listen. Here I'll
the Chiefs did not go to the Super Bowl because they played in August.
I will tell you this flat out. Like everyone says and Phil Simms says, getting live reps matters. And getting real reps matters. How many times has Vic said this with those organized team practices? That's not football. That's not real football. Okay. Hey, we'll agree to disagree.
You don't think the Chiefs would have went to the Super Bowl if they didn't play in August?
I don't know. I know Andy Reid has a style of playing and getting his team ready. He plays
and the Eagles do too, and they've been to 2 Super Bowls too.
Okay.
You just brought up Matt Stafford. I mean, how many have they been to?
Okay.
Again, those are not the most important factors, is all I'm trying to say.
Well, who's better prepared for the season? Your offense or your defense the last 2 years?
Defense, not because of the preseason.
Well, that's your opinion. Okay.
So you think it's more about the preseason?
I think it's how Vic prepares his team for the regular season. Well, and if that encompasses that encompasses
that's fair. The more all-encompassing view, I'm okay with. I mean,
that's right.
Dumbing it down to a series in the preseason to me is not going to.
I look at how he prepares his football team as an overall, and puts. By the way, he's not playing Carter and Davis. He's not. I don't believe that at all. So Zander, do you believe the offense has had a good training camp?
I think they've had a decent training camp. I mean, they're trying to install on new offense, which is always going to come with some growing pains. But I think you've had some moments of good. I think you've had some opportunities for some guys like Darius Cooper to elevate. But overall, I mean, when you have Devontae Smith missing most practices and Mekhi Lemon, who's your first-round pick, missing most practices, and Lane, right? That's not a great thing. But I think all things considered, it's been okay. As good as it can be, but I don't know how good I'd feel one way or the other. If they were dominating in camp, what would that mean? I don't know.
I think Jalen's had a good camp.
Me too.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. The things we're hearing that he's working on and the things he's doing across the middle of the field, progression reading, all that other stuff, right? I think that's a good – I like what you're hearing there with that. I mean, you know what else you're not hearing a lot of? Well, how's that run game coming?
Yeah, you're not hearing much of that.
I think
I asked John. He's like, I don't think it's possible to get,
Are they working? Are they working with that?
I mean, they're running outside zone.
Okay.
60-40, John said, compared to last year, it was 60-40 inside zone the other way. So it's not much different.
What's the number one thing you're going to be looking at this weekend?
Brett depth. The guy's fighting for a roster spot. Special teams. Darius Cooper, I would assume, is going to play. Is this guy for real, or is it camp stuff? Is it summer stories, as John called it? Backup quarterback, I think, is interesting. Is Tanner McKee going to be the backup quarterback, or is Andy Dalton overtaking him? I think that'll be interesting to watch. Defensively, I think the secondary, because I'm not in love with the depth at corner after the main three. I mean, Jonathan Jones seemingly is the best corner, and I don't know, not to pick on him, but what is he, 30-something years old? I mean, you're probably going to want a little more depth there, or at least somebody's going to have to step up. Maybe it's Mac McWilliams. Is Keely Ringo going to be back? I think those are the things I'm looking at. And the other guy, Sills, I'm excited to watch is Jeremiah Trotter, who's had really seemingly come alive at a great camp so far. And, looks like he's playing much above his pedigree as a fifth rounder. So I'm excited to see him play.
Well, here's what those all sound great, and I'll be watching that too. So they're not going to play the starters, right, this weekend. We just argued that on offense. They're
I'm
not,
assuming
right?
not, yes.
Assuming not.
Maybe
there's one guy that will be. Sean Mannion. What I want to see is Sean Mannion situationally play call on Saturday. What's he thinking when you're 3rd and 10? What's he thinking when you're 2nd and 8? How about if you're 3rd and 14? What kind of plays is he going to design? I want to see how Chris Cooper gets those guys, those second-team guys, on those stretch runs. How's that offensive line that we've been hearing everyone? See, to me, Zander, when you start kissing people's asses too much in camp and you start going overboard, you're trying to oversell me something. So I want to watch it. I want to see how Markel Bell plays. I want to see how Sean Mannion and Chris Cooper perform in the game. How do they run the ball? What kind of situational play calling is he going to do? Okay, you've got lesser players. Great. That tells me a little more about him, right? How are you going to compensate for lesser players to try to move the sticks? He's never play called.
I think those are good things. I think those are good things to watch for sure.
And by the way, this is the first game he'll ever play call. So,
yeah, that's big. I mean, that's obviously a big part of the Mannion, the Mannion dilemma this year is he's never done this thing before. So I think that's fair to look at. I don't remember. Did Kevin Patullo have a good preseason last year?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't think they showed too much, right? I think they ran the ball. I don't remember if he had a good one, but I don't think they did too much different than what they did the year before. So what's up with Darius Cooper, dude? Here,
I like him.
Before we go into a convo with him, here's what I think he's done in camp. He's made the coaches notice him. But if Mekhi Lemon is walking on this earth and he's able to dress for the Commander game, that dude's starting. Okay, he's starting at wide receiver 3. That's what it is. Now, can Cooper get himself into a position to get playing time and maybe end up taking that job from him by the middle of the season? Then sure, Zander. But to sit there and say that the guy's a camp all pro, and you're going to put him above a first-round draft choice?
No, I get that.
That's insane.
Me and John debated about it last night, but what I would say is that there's no bona fide 2 this year like there was last year. Like it didn't matter who looked like what last year. Devontae and AJ were 1 and year 2. This year, I do think it's a little bit more open where maybe obviously Lemon's going to be a part of it, but is there more of a rotational, look at that 2nd, 3rd, 4th wide receiver? Do they rotate those guys out a little bit more? I don't know. I mean, I think that's maybe what we could be looking at. It's not to say that I agree with you. I mean, Lemon's not going to go to the bench and stay there, but Do you throw Lemon out here and there? Do you throw Darius Cooper out on third downs? I think maybe they try and change it up. I mean, there's only one football and there's only so many plays in the game. So, and the other part of it is, is there more negative from that than good from that, where you're changing it up constantly with your receivers on the field? But, I don't know, dude, Jalen seems to be playing well with Cooper, and Elijah Moore. So to take those guys off the field and then look at Jalen and say, hey, man, you're not passing the ball well, and they trot a receiver out there who he hasn't thrown to in the spring or the summer now. It's like, all right, I have no chemistry with this dude. I'm trying to get – and we didn't play in the preseason. Back to Sileo's point, I mean, what the fuck? My first throwing pass to this guy this year is in week 1. We got to find our rhythm. So that's where I think they're going to have to kind of figure out what that looks like in terms of how do you bridge that a little bit for Jalen to try and make that, more conducive for him to have success. So we'll see. But I get your point about Lemon, and you're probably right. But I don't know. I would try and get Cooper on there. Sounds like the dude could just flat out play. I mean, dude, he's beating Quinyon, Tariq Woolen, Cooper. He's lining up against everybody out there.
How come they don't put him in like punt return? And they don't have him back there in punt return or kickoff return to see what he can do just to get him out there.
I'm not sure. I don't think he's ever done it in his life.
Okay.
So they just don't feel that comfortable with him doing it. But you're right. That would be the easiest way for him to get on the field consistently.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
A playmaker out there, you want to get him in, Zander. So Elijah Moore and Darius Cooper, are those guys going to be able to get off the line of scrimmage in a pro football game? I mean, and be effective in your passing game? Hey, it's one thing to do this shit in camp. It's another thing to do that in a pro football game where these guys have been pretty much journeymen. Now, I'm not going to call Wicks a journeyman, but these other guys have slowly become that. And I'm not saying that Cooper is. He is a UDFA. He could turn out to be somebody. We've seen this in NFL history. There has been undrafted free agents go on and become great players. But is that enough? Do you think they've got enough talent in that wide receiving core? I heard John say something to you today. Hey, dude, they got really capable players that can play. But do they have capable players of making plays, like big plays? Do you have like a lot of playmakers on that team? I don't know, man. I mean,
well, this is where I think Jalen Hurts is being asked to do more this year in terms of, there's less playmakers, and that means more playmaking is going to have to come down to you. And I think that's a fair ask. I do. I think it's a fair ask, and Jalen's going to have to do it. I think you're also going to want to see the run game, get back to being a dominant, consistent force for the Eagles. That to me will be a big part of it. But I don't disagree with you about, you get rid of A.J. Brown. Obviously, you're down a playmaker, and you've replaced him with a guy who hasn't been able to get on the field in the summer. So there's a big question mark there. I'm not as high on Lemon right now. I mean, I know some people are still like, yeah, I'm not ready to write him all. And I'm not either.
I'm not either.
I'm not worried right now about year 2 and 3 of Lemon. The Eagles right now are in a Super Bowl window.
I wouldn't be if AJ was still here, but it was.
But when you're in a Super Bowl window, Sills, you take 1 year at a time and you maximize your opportunities in each year. When you're the Browns, you think 3 years ahead. When you're the Eagles or you're the Rams,
you think 3 games.
Right. I mean, we got to maximize our opportunity. So that's my concern on Lemon. It has nothing to do with me thinking he's a bust or he's Jalen Reagor. It's that, is he going to provide enough for this team to be competent enough offensively to go and win a Super Bowl? I'm not feeling that right now. I hope I'm wrong, to be honest with you, but and then it's going to come more on Jalen, dude. Jalen's going to have a big year this year. He's going to have to use his legs. Running game's going to have to get back to form. And, those are the things I think that will make up for it. And then the defense, dude. We've been such a defensive football team. If they're great again, I think that's gonna handle a big part of the burden.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man, when you hear Vic Fangio talking and you hear him having conversations, man, dude, if I were a player on that side of the ball, I would watch every freaking press conference that guy has because I'm going to know where I stand. And I got to tell you, I think Ty Robinson's going to have a tough time making that ball team.
Well, he's going to be the 5th. I mean, the question will be if they keep 5 or 6, because John thinks they're definitely going to keep Uar Bernard. So that would be the 6th. So do they keep 5? But then the problem with that is, like, if you have one injury in that defensive line, now you're looking for a body. Well, maybe you'll get one on the practice.
That Uar Bernard pick hurts them this year. May have helped them in years to come if he pans out.
It depends, though, because remember, there are scratches every game. Like, they scratch 4 or 5 guys every game.
Yeah, because when Vic was asked about him today, he goes like this. Yeah, it's looked a little better the last 2 days. And we're hoping he keeps it up.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get much. I don't think you're going to get much contribution from him this year. I mean, how could we expect that?
Well, shit, that's okay. That's 2 years in a row, right? I'm hearing better things than Byron Young. Byron Young, Vic's like very high on. What was the comments that he made about him? Here it is. Kid's getting better. He is having a very good camp. I like him. I mean, that's great. He might be the heir apparent one day tomorrow at Jomo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far just yet.
Yeah, well, nobody thought of Jomo at the 7th round was going to be the heir apparent to Milton Williams. And he played himself into that position.
And Jomo played football.
Well, I'm not talking to our Bernard. I mean, hey, dude. Okay, let's go here with Jonathan Grenard. So, Vic, man, no wonder he only has 8 minutes and 39 seconds to answer questions. Yeah, we're not going to see that guy for the next couple weeks. I'm not thinking the Eagles wanted that out there like that. Okay, knowing how they keep everything close to the vest. Yeah, we're not going to see. Well, Zander, 4 weeks from now is opening week. We're 36 days away from the start. You think that guy is going to be in the opening game?
Who?
Jonathan Grenard.
No. Maybe. Who knows? He's the type of guy, if he's active, he'll play because he's a veteran, so I don't think he needs to camp like other people do. But Vic will probably have him in a lesser role because he won't want him out there for every down. He'll put him out there on clear pass rush situations for him. And I think he'll go to Jalix and Nolan if he needs guys dropping or doing any of those things that Vic sometimes has his edges do. I think it'll be a smaller role for him early, but he'll be out there. I mean, if he's healthy. If he's not off the PUP list, then he obviously won't be out there.
Would you make it? Did you hear the press conference?
Some of it, yeah.
Did you hear what he said about Tariq Woolen? He's like, yeah, no, conditioning will be a factor with him in the style of play that he likes to play. You got to be in great shape to play the way he wants to play.
He's physical and he's a ball hawk.
Why would you mention conditioning? And he also said this, he gets a little lazy on his routes. And but he's got things here. Let me paraphrase it. He's got things that we see that we believe he can do. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm not saying if you're Tariq Woolen, you need that kind of coach right now in your life after what Seattle just did to you. That is such good coaching because you know why? When he's talking like that, he's not talking shit to you, dude. He's telling you, work on this, work on that. I'll get you where you want to go. To me, you take that how he just talked to you as a positive because then he followed it up with, but we do believe he could do the things we're going to ask him to do this year. Okay, kid. Bro, you got an opportunity at reinventing yourself in Philly after what Seattle. Well,
I'm not worried about him. I mean, he's better talent than Adoree Jackson. I mean, dude, he's playing next to Cooper and Q. It's not like he's it's not like you're trotting him out there as the one and you're putting your entire stock in the guy. Is he an upgrade over Adoree?
He is, but how do you, if you're that gifted, how are you not in a 3-year deal with big money and security?
Boy, August Sileo, you're seeking the negativity more than I'm.
No, I just listen to Vic. No, well, I just listen to Vic's.
I'm just saying, I agree, but I mean, Vic can say what he wants, but the defense is not hanging their hat on Tariq Woolen.
No, dude, I'm talking about one position. Then he mentioned the depth of the corner position, and
I
he
just
said
mentioned it too. I think you're
he
right.
goes like this. I hope that straightens it out. Okay. Now, do you think they'd put Cooper back out there if they
No,
had any issue with
I
like
doubt
an
it.
injury?
I doubt it.
Yeah, Vic doesn't glaze, Slagger. That's right. There's no glazing with anything he does. I love the fact of what he said about Trotter, though. I do. You know, Xander,
Yeah,
I
he
like
likes Trotter, clearly.
and here's what he said about Jalen. And dude, you know the stuff that John was talking about that says that I don't believe that it's going to go, there's going to be that radically different. He says this, Hurts is having a good camp, and they are asking him to do a lot of different things in training camp. Whew. This is going to look, I don't believe, and here's my biggest concern, Xander. How much are they going to stick to it? How much are they going to stay committed to it if it's bouncy?
Well, they've made a lot of changes to not stay committed to it. It's like investing $1 million in a business. You don't bail on it in 3 months.
They bailed on it in 1 month.
Yeah, but they didn't do as much that year.
They won the Super Bowl.
I'm saying they didn't make as many changes in the offseason.
No.
I think there's less fallback this year. And I think the offense, I don't think they feel as though the offensive line is that good this year. And not that they're not that good, but they're not the same level they were in 24, where you could bank on them and you had the fallback. I don't know if they feel like they have that this year. Feels like it's a little bit more sink or swim than what it was with Kellen.
You think Lane Johnson's replacement is on the team now?
I hope it's your boy Markel Bell, but I'm not gonna go there on a 3rd round rookie, until we see more.
How about the competition at safety? When he said
I'm actually somewhat intrigued by that. I mean, or we're optimistic. It sounds like Makuba's having a pretty great camp. Now, he's not the one that's battling for a spot, but
no.
In order for that safety room to be what you need it to be, you needed Makuba to take a step forward. If he stays healthy, it sounds like he looks the part in terms of taking a step forward. So that's a good thing. And then Epps has been getting a lot of the reps, but Vic likes Michael Carter a lot.
He does.
So you have a little bit more optionality there than we originally thought. Maybe doesn't mean you're going to be better, but is it more stable than we thought? I think so.
Mentioned even Tariq Castro Field says he likes him a lot. Heard him mention that guy's name. I was like, wow, that guy's the last dude on the depth chart. Depth chart just came out, the first one. Lemon's in there, bro. I mean, they got that guy earmarked. Who do you believe is going to be the starting 3 wide receivers in week 1 against the Commanders?
I think it's going to be the 3 we think. But I do think what I said earlier might be prominent in terms of more of a rotation. But I think it's going to be Smitty, Wicks, and Lemon. And then how much do they rotate Cooper in? I'm not sure. Even Elijah Moore, I mean, if Lemon's no good in the slot or isn't making an impact, do they go to Elijah Moore in the slot a little bit? I don't know. Right now, Elijah Moore is fighting for a roster spot, but they put out a depth chart today. Let me go look at that. I never looked at it yet. I was in the middle of doing some crap today.
Tell me where
All sorts of crap.
Yeah, tell me where they got Lemon on that depth chart.
I'll tell you.
They probably got injured on it, but I wonder where they have him listed and posted.
Ooh, the Bears just lost Kobe Bryant, knee surgery. Will be out 4 to 6 months. They just paid him 3 years, $40 million.
Yep. Big money.
Brutal. All right, here it is. Yeah, they have Smitty, Wicks, and Lemon in the slot. Yep. They have Cooper backing up Wicks, Elijah Moore backing up Lemon in the slot, and Hollywood Brown backing up Devontae Smith.
Huh. Interesting. Where do they have Cooper? Behind Wicks?
Yeah.
Interesting. He may get some playing time there. Yeah, he may get some playing time there. behind
That's a
Wicks.
dude I want on the field. They have the backup quarterback with the good old fashioned
Andy Dalton.
slash Andy Dalton / Tanner McKay. No clear two.
Huh. No clear two. Who do you think
And they
starts
did
that?
that. They did that as well at nickel, corner, and safety.
Who do you think?
So the safeties that they have listed are Cooper and Makuba, and then nickel cornerback they have Cooper, but then the second one they have Michael Carter, Mac McWilliams at nickel, and safety Michael Carter, Marcus Epps at safety.
Who's the edge rushers?
Edge rushers Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Ajomo, Carter, Davis. This is the base. They use base defense, obviously.
Yeah. Munden, second team behind next to Trotter, right?
Yep.
Okay. Who's behind Q?
Behind Q is Ringo, and Jonathan Jones is behind Woolen. See, I don't love that.
Where's Shakorian Bennett?
Shakorian Bennett's on. I don't even know if
13?
he's on. Yeah, he's on the third team behind Jonathan Jones.
Wow.
And then Tariq Castro Fields.
Where's Shipley on that? Third?
Shipley is third. Tank, obviously, second back.
Where's Calcaterra on that tight end list?
Fourth.
Wow. He has no shot of making that ball team.
No. It's Goddard and Munt. I mean, the thing with Calcaterra is they drafted the guy who has a similar skill set. Calcaterra isn't good for anything but catching the ball. So even if Stowers isn't good at the other stuff, they're going to keep him over Calcaterra because he can. I think he can catch the ball. I don't know, but
how has he been in practice? Has John said anything about Stowers?
No, nothing good.
Nothing
good. They have Uar Bernard as the 7th defensive tackle right now. Gabe Hall is the 6th.
Bro, dude, just giving a roster spot out to a guy who will have no impact on your football team. And last year, you needed depth at that position, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, defensive linemen miss games.
I feel like they got pretty good depth there, though. I mean, when you have 3 dudes that good as your 1, 2, and 3, you're in a pretty good spot. Now, if bad scenarios happen, obviously it's tough, but yeah, I'm tight end. They got Goddard, Munt, Stowers, Calcaterra, Latu, and EJ Jenkins.
Who's the backups in the O-line? Because these are the guys we'll see on Saturday.
Backup left tackles, Fred Johnson. Backup right tackles, Markel Bell. Backup center is Drew Kendall. And then your backup guards behind Landon is Michael Jordan, and behind Steen is Jake Majors. So, again, Miles Hinton, Micah Morris, Cam Williams, draft picks they're not even breaking onto the second team.
Yeah,
Drew Kendall's the draft pick who did break onto the second team, and Markel Bell.
The Lampkin kid's getting a lot of love.
Yeah, he's the 3rd center.
Huh. I thought he'd be the second.
He's not going to.
No.
Drew Kendall's going to be the second center.
Because that second group is what we're going to see. Who do you think starts Saturday at quarterback?
Probably Tanner. Or maybe Dalton starts, plays only a little bit. I mean, how many reps are they going to give a 38-year-old guy in preseason? He's going to be like, dude, get me out of this game. I'd rather see Cole Payton.
Yeah, I'd rather see Tanner and Cole Payton.
I actually think Cole Payton's going to be fun to watch. John says he just fucking slings the ball.
Really?
Like YOLO quarterback. He does not care. He throws a lot of picks.
He just wings it?
He wings it. And he can run like crazy.
Really? Is he a big dude?
No, but John said he's a really good runner. John said he reminds him of Taysom Hill.
Holy shit. Really? With a better arm, I'm hoping.
I don't know. I don't know how good the arm is. Let me look up how big he is.
A couple questions to you here on.
He's 23. He's 6'3" and 230.
Wow. What do you make of the Baltimore Ravens this coming year? Jesse Mentor, coordinators, the Clan Boyle and Anthony Weaver. Weaver, I know. I don't know who this other guy is. They've added
He came from somewhere. Where did he come from? Was it there? Was it Chicago?
I believe you're right. Trey
He came
Hendrickson.
from Chicago, right?
Yeah, I believe so. They added Trey Hendrickson. They added Josh Simpson. They boosted up that pass rush with him.
Yeah, he was the OC he was the OC last year for Ben Johnson in Chicago.
Yep, Chicago. Got Lamar Jackson.
He made a lateral move?
Yeah, but I think they named him assistant head for that to happen.
I guess he wanted to call plays.
Or his contract was out.
Well, because he probably wanted to call plays.
Yeah.
Ben is not. You know, if you're the OC in Chicago, it's like being the OC in San Francisco. Nobody knows who
or
the hell you
KC. Yeah, that's not happening. You're not, everyone goes like, they hear he's the OC and
Philly says, I hate gunslingers. Well, Philly, when you're watching a preseason game, you love gunslingers, all right? Because we're looking for anything to entertain us.
Hey, bro, gunslinger was Brett Favre. Did you hate Brett Favre?
Yeah, but this ain't Brett Favre.
No, I got it here. I got it. What do you make of the Ravens this year? Do you think they're a contender for the Super Bowl?
I guess when you have Lamar, you're always a contender. But I don't know. I mean, I got to see it with Jesse Mentor. Being a head coach is different than being a defensive coordinator. So let's see it.
They're one of the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. But then again, like you said, they lost Tyler Linderbaum. That's a big loss inside that offensive line there, dude. When you lose Tyler Linderbaum like that. So, you still got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, 32 years old, had 1,600 yards last year.
He's a beast.
I
think Saquon, maybe I'm being optimistic Eagle fan, but I think Saquon is built to have a longer running back career than the average running back. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be Derrick Henry and have 1,600 when he's 32. But at 29 years old, I'm not concerned yet about Saquon Barkley. I think look, you don't become the number 2 or number 3 overall pick in the draft without having elite athletic, prowess. He's obviously has that. Let's see how he holds up. He's been healthy for the Birds the last couple of years. So I'm not concerned about the age on Saquon yet. I just want him to stay healthy and kind of get back to being, effective.
In Philadelphia, he has 31, 45, and 20 touchdowns in 2 years. And he's averaging 98 yards a game. Almost 100 yards a game since he's been in Philadelphia. Obviously, 900. Look, you're not gonna even remotely come close to that 2,000. You know what Eric Dickerson said about him this year? Eric Dickerson said this. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for 1,500 yards this year.
Saquon?
Yeah, he goes like this.
Well, it's going to be that offensive line and this offense. Do you think Saquon fits that wide zone running scheme? I think he does. John doesn't seem to.
I think Saquon fits any running offensive scheme.
Me too. That's how I feel about him. He's such a good player. It's like I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, we can." It's not like he's LeGarrette Blount. You know what I mean?
I don't look at him just as an exclusive inside zone run back. I think he can break it from the outside, and I think he could break it in the A or B gap. I don't think he's Derrick Henry, in my opinion, is an inside zone runner, right? He's going to break it up he's going to break it off guard, off tackle, and that's who he is. Barkley, I think, can get out in space. I wonder if they're going to do more with that to try to get him the football in space too. More screens and more such things like that to try to get him there.
That to me is going to come down to Hurts. Hurts hasn't loved to be a dump down guy. It's never been his game. So we've talked about that a lot, obviously. half these 5,000, 4,000 yard passers, how many yards do they get in dump downs? If Hurts just dumped down, he'd have as many yards as them. So I'd like to see him do it more this year, not because I want him to see him do it, but because I think he's got the players to have an effective output with it.
Hey, Z, do you think because of Vic being here now and everyone being comfortable in his zone, being comfortable in that defense, you think there's a shot he could be more aggressive this year by bringing more pressure or not, like coming off the corners, maybe
Mm,
bringing Woolen or whatever? I
Probably
mean,
not, dude.
so you think he's just going to roll out the same thing that he's done the last 2 years and not
Well, let me ask
any
you. I mean,
variation?
no, there's going to be some variation. There's always variation, and that's the beauty of Vic. But I mean, just think about the way that Vic thinks about defensive football, especially in the modern game, with how important coverage is because it's become a passing league. When your front seven Sills is Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Moro Ajomo, Zach Bond, and Jahad Campbell, and let's call it Grenard and Nolan or Nolan and Jalix. I mean, are you really going to think about bringing pressure from Woolen or Cooper? No, you're going to drop those guys in coverage and say, yo, dudes up front, you're making $60 million now. Go and get the quarterback. I don't think he's going to be bringing any of that crazy extra pressure. Maybe here and there. You know, I'd like to see maybe Campbell do it here and there if he can do it. N'Kobe was pretty good at that, but I'm not expecting anything crazy. I mean, when you have that type of defensive front seven, I mean, you need them to get home, and that's what I think Vic's going to rely on.
You think Makuba covers for the loss of Reed Blankenship?
In terms of a quarterback of the secondary, no. But I think skill set wise, he could. Makuba was pretty good last year when he played.
He was.
He was solid, and he's apparently had a pretty good camp. And the other thing I like about him is he's a feisty player. Like John was telling me, he was ripping the ball out of Eli Stowers' hands, which is like a joke because it's like, dude, he's the 180-pound safety. He's not supposed to rip your tight end. Like he's not supposed to bully you physically. You're supposed to rip the ball from him. But he definitely plays that way. Could it get him into harm's way? Potentially, but I like the way Makuba plays. I think there's a chance. I think they might have hit on him. We'll see. Second rounder.
Damn. I mean, listen, when you hear Vic talking and you're talking about competition at the safety position, he ain't talking about Makuba. He's talking about the other safety.
That's what I mean. Makuba's locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think Goddard's role is coming up this year?
I think it's got to be pretty big. I mean, you know, if you're talking about that, I mean, we just talked about the receivers. It's like after Devontae Smith, it's really a bunch of question marks. I mean, I'm optimistic on Wicks, but you know, we got to be honest. I mean, he was like the fourth or the fifth option there in Green Bay.
He was.
You know, I think Goddard is the number 2 option in the passing game right now until somebody proves otherwise. So how big of a role does he have? And the other thing is, are they going to use the middle of the field more? I mean, Goddard's your guy. It's not Lemon who hasn't played in the preseason. It's Goddard. Get the ball to Goddard in the middle of the field and let him go to work, you know? So I think he's going to have a big role. How effective it is, we'll see. But I think it's going to be a pretty big role this year.
I want to bring this up to you, and I brought this up in the open of the program. You tell me if I'm off base on this. Darius Cooper will be like the first time that Jalen has made a player that wasn't a first-round talent an option. And let me tell you how I'm going with this. So Matthew Stafford, when he's in Los Angeles, Cooper Kupp wasn't a first rounder. Puka Nacua was like a 4th or 5th rounder out of BYU, something like that, right? He elevated those guys. Made those guys players, right? Mahomes, the same kind of thing, right? Making really, really like C students into B guys. Now, Jalen might like this challenge here. You're turning this kid who was a UDFA into a player that might be a contributor.
Yeah.
That's a feather in your fucking cap, bro, that you took a guy and made a guy into somebody that could be a contributor. Because let's face it, outside of Devontae and AJ, who else has he thrown to that he's made better that wasn't a top flight first-round draft choice?
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been prevalent so far, but.
No. What I'm saying is that, yes, that's what I'm saying here, that this might be something here that Lemon has created with his absence here, because I asked you this yesterday. I wonder if they're going to go to Jalen and go like this when it comes to that last receiver. Hey, do you want to keep Darius Cooper? Do you want to keep Johnny Wilson? And Hurts goes, I'm keeping Cooper. I got a better chemistry with the guy.
I agree.
You think they talk to him like that?
John doesn't think so.
Really?
John said, is it not already obvious they don't listen to anything Hurts says? I mean, Jalen was posting with the quarterback coach they just fired this summer.
Man. Fuck, man. I'd want to know what Mahomes thought.
I know, but dude, Sills, this is not exclusive to Jalen Hurts, dude. We talk a lot about how good this front office is and this organization. Yeah, well, they run it a certain way. They did the same thing with Doug Peterson. Oh, you want your own coach? Now, fuck you. Oh, Jalen, you want this guy? Don't care. They don't care.
Isn't that the stuff AJ was talking about? They don't listen?
Not really. I mean, look, you give them a lot of credit. You're the one who says that the coach and the quarterback are both cabooses. So you better sit back and let them go. Can't criticize them.
I'm just saying, I'd like to have some input from my fucking quarterback if you like this guy or not. Do you like throwing to Cooper? No. How he likes Johnny Wilson more? I'm keeping Johnny Wilson.
No, there's roster management, there's politics, there's contracts, there's guaranteed money, there's all sorts of things, Sills.
I fucking hate that about the game, but it's true.
It's true.
That's why when you hear people in here going, number 3 wideouts, Darius Cooper, I'm like, you're high. You're high. That's not happening.
He might be from a meritocracy standpoint.
Yeah, if the kid's walking, he's starting Mekhi Lemon.
Dude, they got to get it. They got to get Darius Cooper on the field.
So the practice, you're sold.
I'm sold on what?
You're sold that what he's doing in practice, he's going to translate.
Well, remember, he did it in the preseason last year.
He did.
And now he's practicing versus Vic's defense. I mean, you hearing any other receivers that are doing good against Vic's defense in camp right now?
Nope. I don't.
I don't know. I mean, Jalen seems to like him. Jalen talked him up. Everybody seems to be talking him up a little bit. So he's obviously got some sort of great ability, that leads him. So one of my favorite things is, and you say this too, sometimes there's dudes that can just fucking play. It doesn't matter who you line them up against. It doesn't matter who the coach is. They can just flat out play. And it feels like Darius Cooper for a little bit has that. He can just play. It doesn't mean he can be he's the greatest, but I mean, he can flat out play. So get him on the field. The other thing is, Jalen needs chemistry with his wideouts. He's been that type of guy. He's got chemistry with one. Put him on the field.
Dude, Jerome used to be this guy. You'd sit down like next to him and do this, Zander. You'd just start shaking your head going, no matter how good I could play.
Yeah.
That guy is just that guy. And it doesn't matter how you played. There's just dudes that could just get out there and just flat out play. Michael Irvin was like one of those guys. Dude, Reggie's one of those guys.
What did Vic say about Jalen Hurts today?
Oh, here, I got it. He thinks Hurts is having a really good camp. And he says this.
You left that out of our questioning.
No. I said that. I know. I said that Hurts sounds like he's having a good camp too.
You did.
But he goes, he's trying a lot of different things. That's probably why it's wobbled. That's okay though. Dude, I'd rather have you wobbling in fucking camp and practice.
Yeah, I mean that's part of camp.
Right?
That's part of camp. That's part of camp.
You think Jalen's going to have an MVP type season, Zander?
No, I don't think. I mean, MVP means he needs to. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't necessarily know that would mean good things. Like, I think the team has to get back to being a balanced, good overall football team. You hear Sileo say it all the time. You want the superstar or you want the great unit?
The collective.
I think the great unit is more important for this Eagles team. Now, Jalen has to have a bigger role in that this year because I don't believe they have as much talent on the outsides. I think Jalen's going to have to elevate, but I'm not going MVP. I just think the unit has to play up to the par, and Jalen has to be a big part of it.
you know that the chances of Jalen Carter winning the Defensive Player of the Year award are like limited.
Why is that?
In the last 25 years, there's only been 2 defensive tackles to do that.
Was Chris Jones one of them?
No.
No. Yeah, that's tough.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was Aaron Donald and Warren Sapp.
Okay.
2.
People like splash hills, and Aaron Donald had 20+ sacks, I think, one year while getting double teamed 60% of the time.
That's the year.
When Myles Garrett got to 20+ sacks, he was double teamed 30% of the time. Think about how insane that is.
You see, guys like Jason Cole like to vote for flash. They don't really like to go.
See, I don't think that's Jason Cole.
Okay. So Jason likes flash.
One of the reasons I think I love to listen to Jason Cole talk football.
He likes those San Francisco guys. So he's like, he likes the flashy guys and all that other stuff. Like, right.
Well, I mean, Fred, you look at some of those guys. I mean, there's plenty of guys on that team that are not the most flashy, but I think are worthy of a Defensive Player of the Year vote. I mean, Fred Warner in his prime. I mean, that dude.
Bosa won it.
Bosa, right?
Yep,
I think I just saw a report on Bosa. I'm not sure if he's coming back or what.
Oh, is that Joey? Was that Joey or Nick?
No, Nick. I don't have it open right now, but I think there was a report today that Nick has been moved up to day to day because remember, did he tear his ACL out?
Yep.
We'll see what.
All right, Big C. I'll tell you what we will do. We will see you tonight on Birds 365. How you doing? Right?
Later, brother. Appreciate it. Yep. Night
Love
show.
you, Z. Appreciate you, man.
Later, dude.
That is my man right there.